societies, I want to highlight, and I want you to think about this. We look at British society today, we see the institution of marriage is broken. It's not being recognized. People don't want to marry anymore because they don't see the importance of marriage. They see it more of a burden, a responsibility. We see children now living in homes with single parents. Some have no parents. Parents are not prepared to fulfill their duty as parents. So look, we see here decline in the nuclear family. This is based on British culture and society, the changing structures of family. We see that how the nucleus of the family has changed so much in the last 50 years from what it was. The traditional two-parent household is less common. More children are being raised in single-parent families or blended families. Rise of cohabitation. Many couples live together without marriage, and marriage itself is increasingly delayed or sometimes abandoned. Lower birth rates. Families are generally smaller and fewer children, often due to career demands, financial pressures, and lifestyle preferences. I have met people, non-Muslims, who say we don't want to have children. We want to enjoy our life. We are here for a short while, and we don't want to have the burden of raising a family. We don't want to have an economic burden of paying for our family because we can't enjoy ourselves. So we see how this individualistic mindset has become massive in the mindset of the society because they have no deen, they have no religion, and you can see how it's impacted that. And some might say, oh, but that's up to them. That's their personal choice. But you see, personal choice in a society can have a knock-on effect to those around us. And it's important when we say that we have shared values, and people that don't share your values, then it's going to impact that society. Going further down here, I'm reading redefinition of marriage and relationships. You've got same-sex marriages. Civil partnerships are being legalized, redefining the legal and cultural concept of family. So we see a shift, a massive shift in the society. And we as Muslims, what are we doing? We have Islam. Yes, we have Islam, but our role as Muslims is to expose the failings of secularism and to bring and present the alternative way of life. Not in a spiritual context, but in an ideological concept. In an ideological context. That Islam has not just come to address your spiritual affairs, but has come to redefine society and politics and look after your political affairs. Look after your affairs, full stop. Divorce rates, though slightly stabilizing in recent years, remain high compared to the mid-20th century. Individual happiness, personal freedom are often placed above family duty and collective responsibility. And this is also seeping into the Muslim community because we are finding more and more young men and women not wanting to marry, not wanting to have the experience of raising children, but rather be focused on themselves because self-development is more important. And by having a wife, having children, that might impact my self-development because I have career goals, I have ambitions, I have dreams. And those dreams, I don't want anybody to stand in my way. I don't want to have kids asking for my attention because they're going to pull me away from my goals. My goals are more important because they precede everything else. And that's the danger, brothers, when we have that kind of mindset. Going further into this article, role of women and shifts in gender roles. More women are in the workplace, leading to dual income in households, but also less traditional family structures. The role of the mother as a full-time caregiver has become less common, with childcare outsourced to nursery, schools, and state. Let me go back to the classical scholars. Let me go back to Ghazali, Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, and what he says. He says the family and morality are the micro-foundation of society. If families are corrupt, society collapses from within. And I've also highlighted, he also stressed that justice is the lifeblood of society. It's beautiful, mashallah, how this is explained. He stresses that justice is the lifeblood of society. Injustice, whether by rulers or individuals, leads to downfall of civilizations. And brothers and sisters, what can I say more on that? We see it all around us. We see how injustice has destroyed this civilization. That people are coming out of their houses onto the streets, being arrested for calling for the truth. This is the reality of a corrupt system. And my call to brothers and sisters out there that are working in the system, you need to recognize that you cannot correct a corrupt system. You cannot rectify a corrupt system. You have to change the system from one to another and not try to repair it from within, because it is failed. I want to carry on quickly and just cover this last bit over here by another scholar called Ibn Khaldun. And he talks about science of civilization. Ibn Khaldun is often called the father of sociology. In his Muqaddimah, he argued that human society is natural and necessary for survival. He introduced the concept of asabiyya, social cohesion, solidarity, as the glue of civilization. Strong asabiyya leads to unity, progress, and state building. Weak asabiyya, caused by luxury, selfishness, or moral decline, leads to fragmentation and collapse. So he described the cycle of civilization, nomadic society, rise of power, urbanization and prosperity, moral corruption and division and decline. For him, society was both the foundation and the measuring stick of civilization's strength. And what can I say, brothers? When we look at British society, Western societies, we see the fabric of society is gone. You can sit with your neighbor, you can have a neighbor who doesn't like you because of your color, because of your belief, because of who you are. This is the moral corruption of the society. Now, where was I? So yeah, I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to carry on reading about the breakdown of society. I think I was talking about, I'm going to move to another classical scholar, Ibn Taymiyyah. He talks about justice and social contract. And Ibn Taymiyyah, he stresses that society's success depends on justice, which he considered a divine law. Allah upholds a just state, even if it is unbelieving, but even if it is an unbelieving, but does not uphold an unjust state, even if it is Muslim. He believed that the role of authority is to ensure public welfare and prevent harm, showing how deeply society and governance were tied in Islamic thought. And we stress the importance of governance and ruling by justice. And where else do you find justice in the world today? Because we find injustice throughout the world. Any system, any society, any ideology, any civilization that supports the genocide of another civilization cannot be seen as a just system, cannot be seen as just governance. We have to see the corruption for what it is, brothers and sisters, and we have to expose that. And we have to look at what Islam says and look at where Islam saves humanity. This is an important role that we play in this. So he viewed family, mosque and market as three pillars of social life, each needing regulation to prevent corruption. So each of these locations are very important. Key themes across classical scholars. Human beings are social by nature. Society cannot thrive without morality and justice. Family and solidarity are the bedrock of stability. Civilizations rise and fall with the health of their societies. Strong cohesion builds empires, corruption and selfishness destroys them. Religion is not separate from society. It provides purpose, values and limits and prevents disintegration. That's a very key point for us to think about, brothers and sisters. And I want to just touch on a couple of things. I think I'm coming towards the closing of my show now, the last few minutes of this show. I just want to thank my son for doing the video in here. Thank you, Jazakallah Khair. And for my other son sitting here quietly, listening to me while I've been on the show. You boys will get your reward. But most of all, Jazakallah Khair to all our listeners that have listened. I wish you all well. I wish that you have a prosperous and good week ahead, inshallah ta'ala. Please forgive me if I've made any mistakes on the show, because those mistakes are from me, and anything good that I have said is from Allah. I pray that you all have a good week. I pray and make dua that the armies of the Muslim world do relieve our brothers and sisters in Gaza that are suffering, and they put an end to the occupation and the genocide that is going on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.